just going at it, and
oh yeah,
I can't handle this. It's too
we're building a deck, and then we break it down. A spotlight deck, and then test it to the ground. Got it?
I have no fucking clue.
Linkin Park, burn it down.
It
Up, and tear it back down.
Okay, all right, I see it now. I see it. Sorry, I wasn't. I don't.
It was
I
very
like Linkin
short.
Park, and I'm not sure if it was like a hit or anything. So that's what I was looking for. I kind of look at us as like the Weird Al Yankovic's of Magic.
Yankovic's.
Yeah, Yankovic's. Yeah, sorry,
this is going to be a very interesting podcast tonight because it is 2
really
o'clock
tired.
in the morning. We just got done testing our Commander Spotlight, which that's what the song was about. Spotlight deck.
You're skipping stuff. We
oh,
are
yeah.
the CommanderSmiths,
Yeah,
and this is episode 19. I fucked that up again 3 weeks in a row. But I am Lowry Smith.
And I'm Adam Smith. Oh, man, Larry. This is going to be good. Cousins. We are definitely cousins.
Yes, we are. Unless somehow my dad is your dad.
Interesting. Anyways, let's move.
Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful.
And you can catch us on Twitter at CommanderSmiths.
And you can email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com.
Or on YouTube at CommanderSmiths. It's we got a couple listeners or watchers, I guess. Watchers? That sounds really that sounds really bad. We got a couple watchers on YouTube there.
Some peeping watchers.
So anyways, getting back to what I was saying, it's 2 o'clock in the morning that we're recording this. We just got done playing our P-Don Commanders.
Yeah, I'm crabbing Regna from last week, and then you're going to be... You got
Zndrsplt and the
Eye of Chaos.
Eye of Chaos.
How about you learn their names?
He has no vowels. Zndrsplt has no vowels in that damn
Well, you know
thing.
that name, but
yeah.
the Cyclops should be decently easy.
Yeah.
You never remember the commander's names.
It's that guy that does things and stuff.
Is really badass. So yeah, we're gonna do the commander spotlight for the coin flipping commanders from Battlebond.
Yep, we're gonna talk about first. We're gonna talk about how we played or we got together,
and then we'll finish it off with some spoilers and
specs.
Smiths. Is that 4? We have 4.
Yeah,
sections?
4. So this is gonna be kind of quick. When we go through the spoilers, we're gonna be more focused on
good cards.
This time. Commander-driven cards that are actually pretty decent. Actually, one I'm really freaking excited about.
What? Oh yeah. You definitely peed on this one.
Yeah, and my specs are kind of based off of it. But anyways, let's start it off. How did the games go? So we didn't play each other until the last match, and then that was kind of a shit show for
8 people that were there. So we had 2 games of 4 going on.
Bunch of guys that we'd never met before. Good guys. It was a lot of fun.
It was enjoyable. Thanks for inviting us out.
Yeah, definitely. Adam number 2.
I'm pretty sure it was his house.
Yeah,
so
I'm
he'll be
Adam number
1.
2.
Yeah.
Hey, number 2. Do you know what that's from?
Did you guys talk to each other like that?
No. Do you know what that's from, though?
No.
Scrubs? Anyways.
I never watched that show.
So how did your games go over there?
So, yeah, I was Kraven Regna versus one player was playing Duretti. Then there was Sliver Hivelord.
Oh, you're remembering everybody's commanders.
Yeah,
God,
that's the important part. I don't care what their actual names are. And then there was Gisela Brightblade, the red-white one that doubles damage and halves damage. So, like... Krav was really cool. Like I love Krav as a commander. Regna, I like her for the whiteness.
you would.
Yeah. Why? So, but yeah, the white's really nice in the deck, but I don't know how if I wanted to play Regna more, I'd probably have to add a bit more life gain, like incremental life gain in there. But I just seem not to get it naturally unless it's Krav, but then I want to be playing creatures to sacrifice to him, and it seemed like really cool. I felt like we had some really good games going on.
Well, your guys' one game, we played 3 games in your one game.
Within that, yeah. So I only got to play 2 games with Krav and Regna, and then I got some games in like on midweek.
Well, no, you played friends. 3 games. Well, you guys kind of quit that second one because we wanted to switch people up. Yeah, so in their one game that took 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that?
It was 2 hours. And
and how did that game end up?
Well, I was at 67 life, and then Gisela was out, and the Duretti player played Bitter Feud on me, and then with him, and then he dealt me like 60 damage with a burn spell. So I went down to 7. And he was at 1 because it's like quadrupling damage and all this stuff. So like we were just going at it, and
oh yeah,
I can't handle this. It's way too early. And then the Gisela player just burned us out.
Nice.
Just like frick. But it was a really grindy game. Like I was saying, like Krav, like. He can either kill you really quick if you have enough like tokens to sacrifice to him and like just commander damage, or he can go really grindy and make a game really long because you're always gaining advantage even if your creatures are dying.
Yeah.
With the deck that I built.
Yeah, and that's what I wish the third game. Well, the time when we both didn't really even like. Freaking!
I got mana screwed in that game.
Yeah, that one.
And then he just picked on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a tough game to deal with because I got freaking mollywopped with that.
But your first game.
Oh
I
man!
want to hear about this one.
So that was so much fun. Like Zndrsplt and the Cyclops. I don't even know his name. The Cyclops.
You had the cards right here.
Well, so it worked out completely perfect. Like you couldn't even write it up better. Like by turn 5. I believe I had Lightning Greaves, but I was able to make him unblockable. I got 3 coin flips in a row, so I killed 1 person.
Yeah.
On turn 5. Then turn 6 comes around. I had multiple coin flip people out. Got him over 3 flips in a row to get him, killed the next person because he was unblockable, couldn't get targeted. And then it went on to the next one. So in 7 turns, well, no, let's say 5, 6, 7th turn.
5, 6, 7.
And that was it.
Game over.
That was game over.
And I think that was kind of an important thing that you learned while you're building the deck there was like, the Cyclops is ridiculous on his own. Yeah. And I think we learned that from when we were doing our sealed 2-headed giant together.
Yeah, that's what kind of triggered it.
If he's your commander, all you need to do is win 3 flips, and he's a 24/24 and can kill with commander damage if you can get him through.
And so what we're going to talk about that in a little bit too is like originally I pulled all these coin flip cards, but like we mentioned in podcasts before when I was talking about it,
podcast land,
there's a lot of shitty coin flip cards. So it's a coin flip deck, but the commanders themselves do enough coin flip where you don't need that much coin flip. So I only have about 7 coin flip cards I think in the deck.
Okay.
So really the multiple other coin flips never helped. What actually helped a lot was getting Helm of the Host, because then making multiples of your guys
and having more triggers.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking for. It almost sounds like was like your commander. You want your commanders to trigger more often.
Yep, exactly. So then
other cards.
That's how I came into doing multiple attack phases. So that's what this deck is mainly about: is being unblockable and then multiple attack phases, because then you get to flip coins again on your second attack phase.
Yeah, and then.
So yeah, then
drawing tons of cards with Zndrsplt out.
Yeah, so that was the other thing. Like it's kind of strategic where if I'm not ready, like I don't have the pieces to make the Cyclops unblockable, I put Zndrsplt out first because he's very not threatening and people don't necessarily kill him when he comes out. Whereas if I put him out, I want him to get out and attack immediately. So I kind of waited on that. Second game, all 3 of them went after me.
They learned their lesson?
Yeah. And actually, I think I would have done pretty well, but one of them was playing a mill deck. And so I freaking was drawing so much crap from Zndrsplt, getting all the flips, and I was having multiple Zndrsplts. So I ended up milling my own self out, drawing 36 cards because I had 4 Zndrsplts. And actually, I had Karark's Thumb out. And I was choosing not to win because I didn't want to die, but I still did anyways. But yeah, it actually was... Oh, no, that was the third game. The second game was not that. Because the second game, I died from discarding every time. So the third game, what I just said happened where I milled myself. The second game I died. I had 2 players killed. I was going for the last one. I needed 1 more blue land to be able to bounce, but I kind of figured out that wouldn't have worked because he would have cast it anyways. I still would have died.
Yeah.
I was at 1 life, but I just needed 1 more attack, and then he was dead. So everything was working the way I wanted it to work. Yeah. It was freaking awesome. So I actually really love this deck. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the last podcast, but I was worried going into this, making this deck. No, I didn't mention it.
No.
So, side note to it, going into this was like almost the first deck I was building where I was like, I'm not excited. Like, there's nothing that makes me excited about this deck. I'm just like putting coin flip stuff. But once I realized the double trigger stuff, and it was towards the end when I'm putting all the cards together of how I want to build this, I was like, oh my God, 2 attack phases is a brilliant idea, and making them unblockable. Brilliant idea. And so then I got super excited, and this turned into, I don't know, it's got to be one of my top 5 favorite decks to play.
It's a new baby.
Yeah. Then that's the other thing. It's a new one.
So, and actually, and I think we both agreed on the ride back over here to do the podcast, but like, I kind of thought it would almost be like tedious to just continually make like decks for this, the podcast. And I mean, granted, we're only at 3 right now, but I've really enjoyed all 3 of the decks that I've been playing, and I think you're in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're both deciding on which decks we now have to kill that we aren't making, because we like these ones that we're building here.
Yeah, and so you just kind of got to go back and be like, okay, I'm gonna axe. Probably, I'm going to try and get rid of about 5 decks so that I have some more cards.
I'll probably do about the same. That's probably a good number there.
So,
but yeah, I mean, these, I'm going to be playing this a lot. My last 2, I like really these enjoyable. A lot.
I think, shit, what the fuck did I do? There we go. So, like, just for, like, me just playing through the deck, some cards that I found that were, like, pretty decent all-stars that I wasn't really expecting to be good would be, like, Bastion Protector. And since what's
that one do? That is commander gets 2/2. Commander creatures you control get 2/2 and indestructible.
And so since I have 2 like commanders,
you got 2 protections.
And it seems to really work.
So you got that out a couple times, or got that out once?
on the Wednesday game.
Oh, gotcha. When you played
so it just kind of like
week.
protected Krav, and Krav is just so important to my deck that you want to make sure that you have the creature Krav protected pretty much. And then the other 2, which are pretty similar cards, would be like Voldaren Pariah and Urborg Justice.
Yeah, we talked about Urborg Justice last week. I like that card.
And they both pretty much surprised me, because if somebody gets out ahead of me, I have enough creature and value to be able to just like, I'm going to sack these creatures and make sure that they slow down, but I'm getting the value and they don't.
Yeah.
So I think I really like those in this deck, and it just kind of like creates a little bit more value if Krav is being like kind of targeted and harder to keep out.
I think if we would have done head-to-head more, that was when we started the last game that didn't go very well for either of us, but
that's
that was my biggest worry, is I don't have a lot of creatures in this deck. My deck is very creature poor because it's focused on the 2 commanders. So when you got to sacrificing and then making other sacrifice, I was a little worried, because I knew that was in there.
And I think both of ours had like a decent angle against each other, because like the things that I was worried about you have in there, which was be bounced. Like I'm entering all these resources in, and then if they get bounced, I'm just restarting the game, because that sucks. And then for you don't have a ton of creatures, so if I was gaining the value like with a Grave Pact or Martyr's Bond or something like that, you were just going to get in trouble and fall way behind, like not being able to keep up with creatures.
Having answers for each of us is pretty good. Yeah. So the bounce spells didn't help me in any of the games I played. Like,
oh really?
It's hard because it's like you want to utilize all your mana as much as possible, and so a lot of times I was tapped out. And then as we were discussing on the way over, the last game we played, I should have held on to my Cryptic Command instead of trying to get aggressive with it, because I was down too much life. I was at 13. There wasn't a way I was going to survive. But I was dead no matter what. There wasn't anything we could do against. That was
everybody.
That was a little out of control. But yeah, so overall, really fun. I know some tweaks I need to do with it. I almost think even less. I actually am taking a couple coin flip stuff out. So there's some things that, like Goblin Bomb, I thought was going to be really good in it. I never got a token on it. Like, I never won a flip whenever I used Goblin Bomb. So it just 5 turns. You got to get 5 wins off of it. I mean, with Karark's Thumb, yeah, maybe then it helps a little bit, but
it's in play, does just about nothing.
Yeah,
and then
I feel like I need to find better cards for getting my key pieces in, and that isn't necessarily one of them. So there's a couple of tweaks I'm going to do, but that's why we do this. We test it out to see what needs to be done, and I think altering 4 or 5 cards is going to help it out quite a bit. So
it is surprising when you do tweak a deck, and if you only do 3 to 5 cards, it's impressive at how much it actually changes a longer game from your deck. So if you're like, I don't really like this card in the deck, switch it out.
Yeah,
it's going to do something, and it'll be better for you in general for deck making.
Yep, exactly. So does that about wrap up our night?
I'm all right with that. Yeah, I think just talking about some of the cool stuff.
Yeah. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
I guess for me, I would say, like, if you like a really grindy commander, I would play Krav and Regna.
Really grindy. Just grind all grindy. Over you.
No, it just makes games go so long because of the value. Like, people just kind of look at it and they're like, well, if I attack you, you're going to chump block. I'm not going to get any damage in, and you're still going to have a 2/2 around.
Yeah.
And so it seems like it slows games down quite a bit, and you're gaining a ton of advantage with Krav, with the life gain and the drawing and making them huge.
Yeah. So then mine's the opposite, where it's more, and that's what I'll talk about here when we do the spotlight, but it's more aggressive. Like, that first game, I got really nervous because I was like, I have to go at somebody right away and potentially kill somebody in the first 5 minutes that we're playing this game. And I don't like that. That's not my style. But for the last couple, it's been more aggro decks where I can't just sit back. Like, I have to start going, because all the pieces were there. So it was like, I have to do this. I can't just sit here and try to draw more cards. I got to go aggressive and try to kill people. And it ended up working.
And you are able to still draw the cards along with it if you're being aggressive. That's probably the nice thing, is you can be really aggressive with your cards, it seemed like, and still be able to draw a ton if people aren't really focusing on the Zndrsplt.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just jump right into the spotlight going with that. I mean, the biggest part of this deck, and like I talked about, is that you're going with a lot of the multiple attacks, but I would say there's a lot of protection stuff, because your Cyclops is very important. So I have quite a few equipments. This is a very artifact-heavy deck.
Okay.
And I'm not going to talk about these, but it does have a crap ton, a total of 7 Mono Rocks and 7 land searchers, or
getting land into your hand, or into
treasure map, where it flips into, you're scrying, but then it does flip into 3.
And you get the gold
to gold, and then it turns into whatever, the land and all that stuff too. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very go search for your land, get it all up, and you're putting your pieces out in the meantime if you're not ramping or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was putting my lightning greaves out, or like I said earlier, the Helm of the Host, which I love Helm of the Host. Like, that's such a good card. But anyways, so some of the cards that the big keys when I came across building this deck was the multiple combat stuff. So I think, and I'm still waiting on one to come in the mail. So right now I think I have 7 or 8.
You got 6 here.
Okay, so I have 7 total. Yep. So we'll go ahead and read it.
Some of them, like Savage Beating, which will give you an extra attack step and double strike.
Yeah, so that's 2 in 1. Like, if somebody's open, I could just go, well, double strike and you're dead. Yeah, or I'd entwine it so I can double strike and get another attack phase to hit somebody else.
Relentless Assault gives you another attack phase.
That one's just a basic one. That one was on the... I'm kind of on the cutting board with that, but I haven't used it yet. But it's only 4 to get out.
Seize the Day gives 1 creature another attack. You're like, well,
yeah, no, it's totally right. It's 4 untapped target creature. After that phase, you get an additional one, but it also has flashbacks, so you can do it an additional time if you had enough mana to do it. So you could attack 3 times with him, and every time you attack, or every time you get an additional phase, you flip coins again. So if he got up to 12-12, well, you're flipping coins again, and then he might turn into a 24-24 or 48-48. So,
well, here's the question. Like, this could almost be like, if you're not even attacking, you could still cast it to be able to draw more cards with like Zndrsplt.
That's how I normally would use Zender. Like, if I knew I wasn't going to attack with him that turn, I wasn't able to get haste or whatever and get through, I would do Zndrsplt first, because then I was like, okay, sure, I draw.
Would you be willing to have Zndrsplt in play and cast another attack step one just to draw more cards?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah. The main one right here is what actually triggered my idea of why I started to do it.
Scourge of the Throne was your inspiration.
Well, so I was going through my expensive binder stuff that I put all my more expensive cards in a binder. And that's kind of my proxy binder. I go off of that and I'm like, oh, that's a card. I got to make a proxy of that and put that in that deck. So Scourge of the Throne is a 4 and 2 red. It's a 5/5 flying dragon. It has dethrone. But then when it attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking a player with most life, you get an additional attack phase. Yeah. So then that's what triggered it. I was like, holy shit.
You can do that.
But yeah,
on theme for attacking is impulsive maneuvers. I'm not even going to read that.
Okay, so that one, what it does is, so that can potentially give this works for everybody though. So that's the downfall.
Oh, is it?
So it's whenever a creature attacks, flip a coin. Okay. Now the thing about Zndrsplt and Cyclops is that if another player wins, you also get the benefit from it. So if you're flipping and you win your flip,
okay,
Zndrsplt, I get to draw, and my Cyclops gets bigger.
Doubles.
Okay. But if I'm attacking, I also get to flip, and Zndrsplt can double his power. It does double strike. For every creature that you win a flip, it deals double damage. If I lose a flip, the next time that creature would deal combat damage, prevent that damage. So it potentially could save me from other players if they're all out attacking, or do a lot of fucking damage. That I'm still. That was one I was like, I'm on the fence with. I feel like it can be good, but it could totally backfire because I'm not using a lot of creatures.
That's I think the allure of coin flipping.
Yeah,
because it's either 50, really helpful or really bad.
There's so many bad coin flip stuff. Like even the stuff that really spiked with everything, like Stitch and Time, that's fine. It's a good, but if you don't have Karark's Thumb out, it's 3 mana for potentially not doing anything. And so I was kind of, the stuff I wanted to play, I always wanted something to be able to happen, for my coin flips. I didn't ever want it to be like, nothing. Wah, wah. And that's why I'm kind of on the fence with Goblin Bomb, and I might take that out because
Goblin Bomb just seems like really slow.
Yeah. So then the next part of it is just, and I don't have all the cards here. I just got your main ones, but it's making them unblockable, making it so no one can touch it. And that's what kind of got through to kill everybody that first game.
And you were saying that you really liked March Justice Smuggler?
Yeah, because not only does it give it haste, but it also gives it, or unblockable, it also gives it haste, which that's a big thing with the Cyclops. I want them to get out and hit right away. So, but there's a lot. I have all the Whisper Silk armor. Cloak, yeah. I'm like thinking equipment, have that. I have, I think 10, I got my sheet right here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different things that make my stuff unblockable.
Okay. That's quite a bit. And Cryptic Command taps down somebody that you want to get through. One that seems kind of new to me is Open into Wonder.
So that was just to make it so that it can't be blocked, but then you also get a draw engine with
cool,
it. Yeah. So that's from Amonkhet. It's tap 2 blue and X creatures get unblockable. For all your creatures that deal damage, draw a card.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that card existed. That seemed pretty cool. I can see that going in my Derevi deck as well. Just being able to get creatures through, and untapping a bunch of stuff and drawing a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I mean, pretend like you didn't see that, Lowry.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you have your Insurrection as, not because that's what you should have in a red deck as the game winner, but it also makes it, I'm taking all their creatures. So then they're completely open. So that's my whole thought, and that's the same thing with Cryptic Command. It's not because I want a counter spell in there. It's because I can tap down that person's creatures.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I can totally see that.
And then you have your Cyclonic Rifts. You have then what Lowry was talking about earlier.
With the bounce.
Yep, with the bounce stuff. And then so then that's the other couple bounce spells. I think
Washout. I like Washout as a card because it can be. You have to actually be a little political with it.
Yep, you get to choose a color and return all permanents of that color to player's hand. So that includes you.
And then Aether Spouts, which...
So I used... I used Aether Spell. I have two more bounce spells.
Aetherize.
Yeah, I used that.
So similar.
I used that, but I've only bounced one freaking creature. I was like, God, this is a waste.
But it's... Yeah, I mean... I had to do that a couple times with Crab, where like I can play a card that affects a bunch of different cards or creatures of mine, but I was only trying to do it to save Crab, basically.
But it felt so pointless. I was like, you sure you don't want to attack with like all your creatures? Like, I am kind of open. Actually, I was like, damn, I should have all tapped out because then he probably would have just all out attacked me. But whatever.
Set them up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so that's the gist of it. I mean, the key is Karark's Thumb. You don't need to have it out to win, but it does help a lot.
It's nice to kind of keep rolling with the coin flipping.
Yeah, so the only searching I have to get that is Whir of Invention. But I will say one really big winner. Oh, I will talk about the coin flip cards that I did put in. Yep. One big winner in this is Godo. Godo is really good in this because he comes in, you go search for your Lightning Greaves, and you put it directly on him. I did that actually multiple times.
Well, like in our last game, I pointed out, I was like, well, this goes infinite with Helm of the Host.
Yeah, so. And I didn't even realize that. And one of the games, I think the one that I lost by, I was at 1, I had both of those out, and I didn't do that. I didn't even think of it. Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't need it.
Infinite accidental combo, which I didn't even mean to have in here. So... And then the couple coin flip cards that I did put in here was Goblin Bomb, like I mentioned, but that might actually make its way out. Chance Encounter is just another way to win. You win 10 flips. Every time you win a flip, you put a luck counter on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you have 10 on there. 10 luck counters, you win the game. Goblin Festival is kind of unique because it's 1 red, 1 colorless enchantment. You can tap 2 to do 1 damage to a target creature or player. But if you lose the flip, a player gets control of it. But you can tap 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So you can do it multiple times before it switches over. And then we have Game of Chaos, which that's 3 red. I've talked about that for one of my specking.
Yeah.
Planner Chaos, I was interested to play that, but I didn't actually ever get that out.
Didn't get a chance of it.
But that one works with everybody again. That's another multiplayer thing. So it's 1 red, 2 colorless enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, sacrifice it. But its second part is whenever a player plays a spell, they must flip a coin. If they lose the coin flip, their spell's countered.
So you're playing counter spells. You jerk.
Accidentally.
We know that you don't like it.
It was more of the idea with that was to make people hold up on doing stuff until my turn, and hopefully I get to go, I don't know, pause people for a turn. Anyways.
Interesting.
And then you have Squeeze Revenge, which you choose a number, flip a coin that many times. If you lose, you don't get any of the effects. But if you win, you get to draw 2 cards for each time you won.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
So, and then the last one is Carpulzan Minotaur. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you pronounce it. 2 red, 2 colorless, 3/3. I didn't get to play this as Clumative Upkeep, flip a coin. Every time you win a flip, so it doesn't have to be that Clumative Upkeep, so that can take effect with your commander going. Every time you win a flip, you do 1 damage to a target, creature or player.
And if you lose,
that player gets to choose
1 damage.
Yeah, so
interesting.
That's that one's a little. That's one I'm like.
It's just coin flipping.
Yeah.
The difference between old coin flipping and the new Zndrsplt and Eye of Chaos, or there isn't really a downside to the commanders, but all the other coin flip cards have a downside where you're like, fuck.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it to have it in there?
And so that was the game that I had 4 Zndrsplts out I had that option to play that card, and I was like, I'm at 1 life. That isn't gonna be a good play because I'm gonna lose a flip and it's gonna go to my face. So yeah, that was interesting. But overall, freaking loved the deck. I liked really making this deck different than I thought it was gonna be. Like I said, when I spec'd on these commanders coming out, I bought all the coin flip stuff, and you don't need a lot.
You didn't really need it, but I think there are
other
plenty
people.
I think there are plenty of people out there that like to play chaos.
Yeah,
and I think it's probably we're a bit too competitive to maybe do
I think
full coin flip.
Yeah,
deck.
that might have been pretty shitty if I would have gone just straight up coin flip. But yeah, that was good. I like that.
If you kind of like the styles that we're talking about, I'll add a link in to tappedout.net under this podcast. You can kind of check it out.
And if you have any suggestions, you can definitely shoot us an email or something on the. No, don't worry about it.
No, it's
keep it. Make your own deck.
I'm assuming that our Gmail account is broken because we haven't gotten any emails. It's fine. I mean. I know it works when I send us the information.
Yeah. We got an email. Oh, it's Lowry.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's how much Adam likes me.
Yeah.
Damn it. Another email from Lowry.
So, yeah, let's move on to our core set 2019.
Core cards for spoilers.
That works.
No, it doesn't. That was bad.
Quite a bit got revealed this week. Actually, all of it got revealed this week. But some freaking sweet cards. Hey, did you happen? I'm putting you on a spot here.
Huh?
Did you happen to do any homework on the lore?
I did not.
You son of a bitch!
I knew we had a jam-packed podcast here, and I felt like I had a little bit more time. And it's a little fuzzy.
You
on
procrastinated.
The past. So get on my back.
Okay, so no lore discussion, no Lowry lore time with Lowry. Yeah, Lowry. Goddamn, 2:30 in the morning. This is freaking late. So we're gonna go through some of the spoilers
came out. Now this isn't coming out for another 3 weeks. I think the release is July 13th.
Yeah, they got really trigger happy on showing all this stuff.
I don't know why they were so early, but
they didn't. Like we said
last week, they're afraid
of
Battlebond. They're like, "This bad set. Let's just cover it up."
But Battlebond was awesome. I thought it was pretty sweet, really, but it's really commander driven.
But yeah, and so the pre-release is happening July 7th and 8th. So, it's a ways off, but that's perfectly fine. We get to, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah. No more
Maybe
spoilers.
cards that we didn't talk about this week. Let's talk about bad cards next week.
Bad cards next week.
I'm excited for that.
You guys want to listen to that episode? All right. So the first one, we're going to start with the mythic cards. Resplendent Angel. We didn't talk about this one, right? No.
Nope.
It is 1 and 2 white for a 3/3 flying angel. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 5 or at the beginning of each end step, sorry, let me get that right, because if you gain 5 life on another person's turn, you also get to create a 4/4 angel with flying and vigilance. You can tap 3 and 3 white until end of turn. Resplendent Angel gets 2/2 and gains lifelink. That's pretty interesting for a 3/3 flyer. That's a lot.
I think it's really cool. Yeah, the ability seems a little overdoing, but if you
hit with it,
as long as they don't kill spell it after you do the activated ability, you're getting a 4/4 white angel. And that's worth 6 mana if you have that open.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I really like this card. I'm not gonna go out and buy it for $17 or anything, but I was thinking it'd be really good in Alicia deck or something.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet angel. I like it added to the repertoire of angels. Did I use repertoire? Is that the second time this podcast?
I have admitted this in the past, but I really don't pay
listen
attention
to what
you're saying. Yeah.
God, you're drunk again. But we're not drinking tonight because it's very late.
I'm already
drunk off of sleep, not sleep. God damn it, this sucks.
So the other one we wanted to talk about was Wind Raider Sphinx.
What was that?
I'm just kidding. We didn't want to talk about that one. It's a reprint. Tezzeret Artifice Master. That's a planeswalker.
That's what I thought you were trying to say, and I was like, whoa, he really got that wrong.
Three colorless, 2 blue with 5. Stop talking over me. This is my time.
Your time to shine,
5 loyalty. You can +1 it to create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token. token with flying. You can 0 draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, draw 2 cards instead, and then you can -9 it. You get a emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library, which is
ridiculous.
Why is it a permanent card?
That is ridiculous.
He doesn't do permanents, he does artifacts, which would still be really good.
Yeah, but they just wanted to make him bonkers.
He's good.
Yeah, I like him.
They actually did a good Planeswalker here.
Yeah. So we'll move into, I like this one a lot, Apex of Power. It's a lot. It's a commander card. 7 and 3 red. You exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until the end of turn, you may cast non-land cards exiled this way. If the spell is cast from your hand, adds 10 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Yeah, so this is, in my opinion, this is bulk.
That's freaking... Well, it's a commander card.
I don't know. I don't like the thing of, like, if it casts from your hand, that's when you get the mana.
You notice Red's doing a lot of that stuff right now with the...
Well, it's kind of their draw ability or looting. I don't know. So, Liliana.
Should we do it, Liliana? Yeah. Oh, did I skip? Yeah, I did skip. My bad.
Well,
I wasn't sure if we talked, because we talked about the
bad Liliana.
Yeah, the other ones
much better.
So I forgot which ones. Go ahead.
Liliana, untouched by death. 2 colorless, 2 black, 4 loyalty starting. You get to +1 it. Put the top card of your library into the graveyard. If 3 cards, top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. If at least one of them is a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life.
That's a lot for the plus abilities.
It was a mouthful. But essentially what it's saying is make
zombies
a zombie deck with Liliana.
Life.
Yep. And then you can -2 Liliana. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of zombies you control. Another, she's a necromancer, so that's quite on flavor. And then you can -3 it, so right out the gate, you may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. So I think that's pretty good value. It's probably pretty tough to, cast zombies when you cast her. So you probably +1 mill some. Hopefully you get some zombies. You kind of drain some life. And then the next turn you start casting zombies from your graveyard.
Yeah, it's great for a zombie tribal deck.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool card.
2 cards that are reprinted, which are good reprints, is Scape Shift with some new art. And then we also got Crucible of Worlds. But then we move into, which I'm glad they've reprinted that again for the 3rd time.
You skipped one.
What am I skipping? Sarkhan?
Yeah.
God, I don't remember which ones are I thought we talked about 2 Sarkhans, didn't we? Last week? Maybe not.
Maybe you did.
I thought we talked about 2, but
maybe we didn't. Okay, skip it. There's a new Sarkhan card if we didn't talk about it last week. So check that out in the spoilers.
Well, go ahead. You can go ahead and read that one.
I don't want to anymore. Because if we do it again, we're just doubling up, and I don't care. It's better that we don't talk about it.
Let's go to the one that I'm really freaking excited for. I even am cheering, and you guys can't see me, so yeah. Anyways.
He's cheering with this really downtrodden voice. I'm
so excited. But our Elder Dragons, we were talking about the other. Talked about a couple of them.
We talked about Nicobolus and
which one was the other?
Vivictus Asmati.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so we got
others. Arcades, the strategist, and it's 1 green, white, and blue for a flying vigilance 3/5 dragon. But here's our first freaking official defender wall commander, because when a creature with defender comes into play, draw a card that you cast, I should say, when you play a creature with defender. And then each of your creatures with defender can attack, and they deal damage equal to their toughness instead of their power. This is the official frickin' wall commander that we've all been waiting for our pillow fort decks.
We all... As in you.
Yeah, I did make it. Remember, I like
Doran.
A wall deck.
Doran allows you to still be able to attack even if Doran's not on the battlefield. So I got a bunch of 2s or 3 powers, so I can still get you there. With this, I feel like if I just go, I'm gonna kill Arcades.
Or the thing is you play all your walls out, you get your pillow fort, and then you play them and go, all right, everybody dies.
That's true.
You don't need to cast him right away because you got your
Thanks for telling me your strategy. So obviously,
So this is my peed on commander. By the way,
this is your peed on commander.
I'm going to pee all over this wall.
I think the card advantage is going to be pretty sweet with it.
I like that a lot.
But I think it's important to point out that like only creatures with defender have the one like that deals damage with.
Yeah, so not the stuff
toughness.
with the big toughness, because if you look at Doran decks on EDH Rec, the top cards used there are a lot of really high toughness, like Tree Folk and stuff.
Yeah,
those
but
aren't
they can
going to
still
do
attack without Doran and stuff like that.
So that's the kind of the interesting part about this one too, is that you don't need the other key card, because Doran, you needed another for the walls. If you were playing walls, you needed another card to make them attack.
Assault formation.
Yeah, which there's a lot of stuff that makes it so you can attack. Kind of. I mean,
animate wall.
Yeah.
And then there's like a gargoyle from
there's
Guild
a couple
Pack.
of them. Yeah. So this makes it's all in one package, and it's a drawing engine. So
and I think that's one of the biggest things is just being a draw engine. It seems really good.
Yeah. So then our next Elder,
Chromium the Mutable, 4 colorless, a white, blue, and black. Says 7/7 flash. It can't be countered. Has flying, and then you can discard a card until end of turn. Chromium becomes a human with base power and toughness 1/1, loses all abilities, and gains hexproof. It can't be blocked this turn.
So it's just you can't.
So it becomes like a 1/1, but like essentially,
somebody's doing a kill spell, you
gets
protect
rid of,
it.
Yeah, all. I mean, you got to have the cards in your hand, but if you discard a card, stops whatever spot removal that's going on.
Yeah.
And if they're doing like a damage based thing, it's still going to be a 7/7.
Yeah.
So I think this is a pretty cool card. It's 7 mana,
lot of
so
mana.
It's a little expensive for me to get excited about it.
Yeah.
But right now I'm probably leaning towards Chromium just to be cool and different for my Pedon commander.
Oh, really? That's not what you were saying before the cast?
I know.
You just changed it mid...
that's why I have no idea what I'm doing, actually. So I'm just going to change it a billion times.
Mine's going to be all of them, and then I'll choose one.
I'm just going to say...
Whatever one you open in a pack is what it is. Oh, look.
Actually, that's probably true. Whatever I open is probably what it's going to turn into.
All right, then the final commander is... Palladia Morris, is that how you say it? Palladia? Palladi Morris. Palladimore. The Ruiner. 3.
You should say it more times.
Red, really fast, like 10 times fast.
Palladia Morris.
Palladia
Pilates more. More Pilates.
More. Hey, I like that one. 3 red, green, and white. So it's 6 to come out for a flying vigilance trample. When it... Wait. It has hexproof, and if it hasn't been dealt damage.
If it hasn't dealt
damage yet. So it needs to deal damage, and then it loses its hexproof.
Yeah.
And it's a 6/6.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's so... Like, so in my mind, with this card, if it's going to be my commander, which it might...
everything's... depends on what I open in my packs.
So, like, you just, like, Voltron it, but you're not going to attack with it until you have it, like... really protected,
and then
or really big.
Kill one person, and then he loses hexproof.
And then he loses his hexproof. Yeah. So I'm guessing that people complain enough about hexproof, but they're like, well, we should have him have kind of hexproof. So
kind of hexproof.
Yeah. So I think it's probably a good card, and I'm just complaining about a good card. That's probably what's happening.
That's it. All right, let's move into our rares. You're a read, right? Yes, you're a read.
I don't want to.
You want
which one? You want?
The Last Stand.
We can do that one. I do like that one. Ajani's Last Stand. 2 colors, 2 white enchantment. Whenever a creature or planeswalker you control dies, you may sacrifice Ajani's Last Stand. If you do, create a 4/4 white avatar creature token with flying. And then also, when a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, if you control a planes, create a 4/4 white avatar creature token with flying. I think this is just like I think it's an interesting, cool card. I'm
so because they have those other enchantment stuff that when something happens, sacrifice. I mean, it's a 4/4, I guess. 4/4 flying avatar.
But yeah, it's I think
doesn't excite my pants. You don't know where to go with that. Nothing's happening down in the undercarriage. Right. Everything's just
all right.
I don't know. I mean,
do we want to go to?
Well, I was thinking Cleansing Nova is pretty interesting for EDH wise because you get the choice. It's 3 and 2 white. Choose one, destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. So I like the idea of...
I like the flexibility.
Yeah, that you can choose one or the other.
5 mana. Yeah. I definitely agree with that one.
And then where do you want to move into next? Do we want to do Sun Cleanser?
Sure. Yeah, we can do Sun Cleanser.
Go for it.
1 colorless, 1 white. It's a 1/4 creature. When it enters the battlefield, you get to choose one of these abilities. You get to choose either remove all counters from target creature. It can't have counters put on it for as long as Sun Cleanser remains on the battlefield, or target opponent loses all counters. That player can't get counters for as long as Sun Cleanser remains on the battlefield. So
it's pretty interesting. I mean,
yeah, it's a hate card for like energy that like for standard, but for like 3 months.
Yeah, and then it cycles out. But I mean, for EDH, it's pretty interesting being able to, there's some commanders that deal with what's the one that Ryan Grant plays a lot, the green-black one that gets counters on it.
Oh, Skullbriar.
Yeah, Skullbriar. That's a hate card for that.
Yeah.
Anything that uses experience counters, if you're using that as your commander or whatever.
Also true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You thought about this card.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting. You don't see.
I thought it'd be just like really good utility in Doran in my mind because
you love Doran.
I really enjoy him.
He sucks now. We have a dragon in his place. Damn tree. My
biased.
Dragon will burn your tree. Actually, I don't know if you want to talk about this one, but I like to mention that they are continuing to add cats since they did the last Commander set.
Yeah, well,
so this one's actually pretty unique, though. I mean, I like it. It's so it's Leonin War Leader. It's 2 and 2 white. When it attacks, give yourself 2/1/1 white cats tapped, attacking, and they also have lifelink. And it's a 4/4 for 4 mana. So I think it's interesting. They're adding more to get the cats as a more legit tribe.
I like the different options for cats as they keep on kind of making it a little bit. But this card kind of reminds me a little bit of like Brimaz, where when you attack, you get to put a 1/1 cat into play with vigilance. But also, Brimaz has... I mean, I think Brimaz is a really badass one. This is probably really good in that type of deck, though.
Yeah.
Cat Tribal. I can see this potentially going in my Gahiji deck if I get it. So good luck.
Where should we go next? We get into blue here. Is there any notable ones we want to talk about in blue? I'm trying to look through there. I thought the Metamorphic Alteration was interesting. It's 1 white and blue. Do you see that one? The enchant creature where you, as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of chosen creature. So you could do it to yours, but you also could screw with other people's. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. That's
so somebody has a badass whatever out, you change theirs into your token 1/1 cat. With lifelink. So I think you can use it almost as a kill spell in a way if you wanted to, or it could give you an advantage by pumping your stuff. So I thought that was interesting. Any others on blue you liked?
I liked Psy Master Thopterus. It's a 2 colorless, 1 blue. It's a 1/4. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter, artifact creature, token with flying, and then you can pay a colorless and a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw a card.
I like that one too.
I think there's a ton of value there. I think you could put it in any blue artifact style deck. I think this could even be a really good value commander. It's decently hard to kill as a 1/4 for that cheap of mana to come out. So I think it kind of does a lot.
Cast in an artifact and you get a 1/1 flying Thopter. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
So it feeds into its own drawing a card, and because essentially if you cast an artifact, you're going to get an artifact, and then you can pay 2 to draw a card.
Is it Thopter Foundry that does the same thing, but it's an enchantment where it's 1 blue, 3 colorless. Every time you cast an artifact, you get to get a 1/1 Thopter. I guess I could search for it right now if I wanted to. But yeah, there's a card that it reminds me of that. I think that's what it is. Why don't you go to the next one? I'll just check and make sure that I was right on that.
Fraying Omnipotence. It is 3 colorless, 2 black sorcery. Each player loses half their life, then discards half the cards in their hand, then sacrifices half the creatures they control a round up each time. And so this is like the new Pox. I think it's a modern Pox card because there's Pox, there's small Pox, there's Death Cloud, stuff like that. So I think this is just kind of adding into that bit a little. And I think this is going to be it's probably really powerful in Commander. Just like starts having people's stuff. I'm a masochist like that.
And my computer's acting up, so I'm not. As I'm going into stuff, it's going really slow, so I'm not even going to mess with that because then I don't want the whole podcast to shut down here.
Were you watching porn?
Not on the computer. Who does that anymore?
Oh, no.
Why don't you go to the next one because I have a little bit of freeze going on here too. So this is. Way to go, computer! I didn't do the reset. We should have reset.
Is this recording?
Yeah, I hopefully.
Did that slow too?
I should stop clicking on stuff. You just read
Maybe
the next.
Maybe we talk like this, and it'll be just fine.
What does slowing your voice down have to do with anything? What would that help at all? If it wasn't working, why would that help?
It means we don't
slower.
It means that we don't talk about as much while it's not working, and then we can backtrack a lot better. See how that works?
I don't at all.
Graveyard Marshal. It's 2 black creature for 3/2, and then you can pay. Its activated ability is 2 colorless, 1 black. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Token maker, zombie tribal, 2 black mana for a 3/2 is even decent value right there. I would say the only downside is that it has to be from your graveyard, but still, I think you can start flying through that.
Yep. Was there anything else in black that we wanted to mention? Infernal Reckoning is whatever.
I don't think that.
Destroy a colorless.
I like Izarath, the Awakener.
Did we talk about that one before? God, we need to write down which ones we talk about.
That sounds like work.
So that one is actually you read it again because I can see. When it attacks, it's 1, 2 black, and it is a 3/3 human wizard with death touch. When it attacks, you may pay X, and then my computer just went to the white screen.
You
of
can
death.
pay X from your from your graveyard into the battlefield with a corpse counter on it. If that creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else.
Oh man! All right, you keep going because I don't.
I'm just going to do all these spoilers while Adam.
No, I'm going to pull up my phone now and I'm going to jump on with you. But you keep going because I don't want this to shut down while we're doing this. I have to re-record all this goddamn crap again.
So I think another kind of cool card. Actually, this one would work really well with my Crab deck. But Open the Graves. It's an enchantment in black that's 3 colorless, 2 black. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So like in Crab where you're sacrificing a bunch of non-token creatures that turn into tokens, this helps turn them into tokens. So I really kind of like that one. Starting to move into red.
Red, okay. Well, I did want to mention one thing with red. Not really. It's a good card. I think it's funny that they're trying to really do the Blood Moon, Blood Sun, all that crap, and they add Alpine Moon. I think it's a really garbage card, but I think it's just more trying to shut down Tron more than anything. Don't you think?
Probably.
I think it's like just.
But it's not very good.
No, it isn't. It's like it helps the other player. I don't know. So I'm not even going to describe it. I just thought it was interesting.
Check it out.
Did we talk about Goblin Trashmaster? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. That one's really cool.
I like this one. So it's 2 and 2 red, Goblin Warrior, 3/3. So we have another Goblin Lord. Other goblins you control get 1/1. You may sacrifice a goblin to destroy target artifact. So that's pretty sweet, actually. We have sacrificed goblins to give you mana, but this is our like nice Goblin Lord that pumps us, and then
it's a sacrifice outlet. You're gonna be able to get rid of a bunch of
soul
artifacts.
rings and
Sensei.
Well, Sensei top.
Top. I I didn't want to make a notation. It's really hard to kill Sensei's Top.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't kill it.
So one that I actually really liked was Dark Dweller Oracle. It's 1 colorless, 1 red for a 2/2. It's a Goblin Shaman. And then you can pay 1 to sacrifice a creature. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And so like it's a sacrifice outlet. Dark Dweller is kind of like a return from Goblin Dark Dwellers, which was another core card from years past. But I think it's a really kind of cool sacrifice outlet to get you some potential card advantage in red.
Yeah.
So
I actually, the one last thing I think in red that I liked was the Sarkhan's Unsealing. 3 and 1 red. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4 or 5 or 6, it deals 4 damage to any target. But if you cast something that costs 7, it deals 4 damage to each creature and planeswalker they control.
I think it could be a really powerful card as well. But the funny thing was when it was first translated over into English, it was I was seeing it as Sarkhan's Broken Seal. And then I was just like, what, was he out drinking really like late? Yeah. And stuff like that. But it is unsealing, so
nice.
Too bad.
Was there any green? Did we go through? We went through a lot of green last week. I did like the other dinosaur they kind of added in there.
Oh, yeah. You can talk about that one.
I just read the red, so why don't you go with the green?
I read like 5 in a row.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't want to read about that one anyway. I want to talk about the legend.
Runic Armasaur, and it's 1 and 2 green for a 2/5. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of a creature or a land that isn't a mana ability, you may draw a card. That's pretty sweet in Commander, I would think. I mean, you're going to be drawing quite a bit. So
it would help fight against Krav.
Yeah.
Right there. I want to talk about Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma.
It's a bear.
It's a legendary creature bear. 3 colorless, 1 green for a 4/3. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. That's huge right there. And then whenever Goreclaw attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater get +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. This one kind of does a lot. It feels like you're doing... In my mind, I have like creatures of 6 mana or more that like I'm going to play all my Crawworms right there. And just for 4 mana, just start dropping 6/4s like crazy.
Do bear tribal, except they don't get over 4, so tribal, you're kind of screwed there.
I was going to play a bunch of 2/2s for 2
bears.
And really use Goreclan.
Do we want to just move right into the artifacts then? There's a couple of them that... the one I wanted to talk about was what was it?
Transmorgifying wand, straight from Harry Potter.
Yeah. But I like this especially for Commander because it's 3 for an artifact. When it enters, you get 3 counters on it. You can tap 1, so you can do this the turn it comes in. Tap 1, tap it, remove a counter, and destroy target creature. Its controller gets a 2/4 white ox creature token. And you can only activate this when you're using a sorcery or casting a sorcery, so that kind of sucks. I
can see this going in Atraxa because you can continually increase the counters that are on it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And then
so you can keep...
also if you have somebody that has like Animar, you can be running this because it's a colorless targeting thing. So
yeah.
It allows you to kind of hit most things with protection as long as it doesn't have hexproof and shroud, but it gets through indestructible, and you're really giving them a 2/4 ox.
What did you think about Chaos Wand? That one I thought we didn't talk about that one last week. It hadn't been revealed. I think that came out this week. I thought that was kind of an interesting card.
I'm reading it right now.
You can read it out loud. We want the class needs to listen.
No, you asked me what I thought of it, not
so Chaos Wand. I just read the last one. Chaos Wand 3 for an artifact. You can tap 4 it. So that's kind of hard to do. You got 7 to get it in the first turn. But target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they reveal an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then put the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of that player's library in a random order. So this goes with the chaos stuff, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But you're taking
it's an artifact version of Stolen Goods from it was Innistrad block, original Innistrad block, and that card's pretty tough to play. And so this being 3 mana to come out and then 4 to activate, I see it being really slow. But
I thought it was interesting, I guess, is the only thing.
I think it can definitely be interesting, but I think you want to be, maybe I can see it in maybe a theme of like playing other people's cards, like a Zndrsplt deck or something. So that allows you to kind of just play their cards.
Why don't you finish it off with the sweet land that's in this?
Yeah, I really like this one. Isolation Tower. Tap to add 1 colorless. You can pay 1 and tap it until end of turn. Your opponents and creatures they control with hexproof can be targets of spells and abilities as though they don't have hexproof.
So we have 2 lands now that actually can deal with
there's
people.
Arcane Lighthouse, which does the same thing. Actually gets rid of Shroud as well.
Yeah, so this is only hexproof. So,
but still, this is a really good card to have. Gets around Swiftfoot Boots. And a lot of other, asceticism. And so I would go out and get these.
Yep. Excuse me.
Was there anything?
I think that rounds it off, the main ones that we want to talk about. I'm sure there's some other ones. We didn't really get into the uncommons. I know there's some decent uncommons in there, but we just, time-wise, wanted to just hit up the main ones that we thought were pretty sweet for Commander. Do we want to move into the next segment? Which is Smith Specs of the Week. Okay, you're not joining in.
I thought we had the discussion with slowing down.
No, it's trying to get you to jump in.
See, it's exactly what I wanted to talk about. If you slow down your speech, then we don't get far enough where we don't have to.
We're not cutting out. I'm trying to get you to join in instead of reading. Smith Specs of the Week. Oh, fuck you. Okay. Smith Specs of the Week. Okay. You're going to start us off, Larry. What's your first spec of the week here? Oh, wait. Your first spec was...
Retribution. No.
It wasn't Hour of Reckoning?
Hour of Reckoning. There we go.
But the internet's going really slow. This is awesome.
So Hour of Reckoning.
Sorry, guys.
A bunch of mana. And but you get to convoke with it, and so then it destroys all non-token creatures, and that is a one-sided wrath in my mind, and it's really good. The foils have spiked.
So yeah, the regulars
they're up to like $20 right now. The regulars are sitting around $3, so they could potentially follow with the foils. But if you have a token deck, you should be running this in your token deck. This is. Turns into a one-sided board wipe, and I just think your laptop is tired. It's really late.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the damn morning.
And so I think this is a card.
Hey, it popped up. But if I scroll, it's gonna freaking shut down. And anyways, you get these for around $3, which is pretty nice. You can
and so it was reprinted in
Commander,
and that's the only one. So
that's a good removal spell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it. And like you said, if you're playing tokens, which there's a lot of popular token decks, I would pick that up.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential.
And especially with seeing the foil spike, that generally means that the regulars are going to go pretty soon, too. So, not necessarily as hard as the foils, but the foils just jump to 17.
Up to like $5 or something.
So, mine are going to stay on theme with my Pete on Commander. The first wall I want to talk about is Wall of Denial, and you could get either one, but it's the foils I'm focused on, either from Modern Masters or the original from, was it Alara? Shards of Alara? Alara Reborn. And those are running for about $2, and then the Modern Masters you can get for probably $1. These are going to be freaking ridiculous with that commander. Once people start actually using that as their commander.
Flying hexproof.
Yeah.
Attacking for 8 with 3.
An 8/8.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So I think these are going to jump up. In fact, they have gone up a little bit. Not a ton, but you got to wait for this actually to come out. Buy early.
Because that happened a lot with Slimefoot. You had an initial jump.
And then they're still jumping now. There's still ones that are jumping. There's still
movement. So... that one I think has a bit of potential there.
Yeah. Lowry, your next one that you're not going to be able to see, you're just going to have to read.
Magister Sphinx. Yeah, I got this stuff memorized. It's 4 colorless, a black, white, blue. It's a 4/4 flyer, and when it enters the battlefield, target player's life total becomes 10. And the reason why this, I think this is super powerful. If somebody's sitting at 40, it's an artifact.
Or even at like 200 or whatever, that doesn't matter. You just kill them.
Soren Markov is a really good planeswalker for a reason. This is right there with it. You can blink it, you can reanimate it, you can, reanimate it more in an artifact style deck. This is a great card in Breya. It's I think quite powerful, and I would go after the foils on that one because they're sitting in between $4 and $5 right now.
Yeah, and the regulars it looks like $3, so you're not spending that much more for the foils, and it only has one foil printing.
Yep, and the other non-foil printing, I believe, is Arch Enemy, if I'm remembering right. And so that's
normally we would telling you all the other ones that was on, but like I said, my computer is just going freaking crazy right now.
Oh, it's a 5/5.
Yeah,
I was wrong. Not a 4/4. It's 5/5.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, like I said, the foils and the regulars are pretty similar in price. So if you're gonna choose one, why not go for the foils?
I think you go after the foils, definitely.
Yeah. My next, it kind of two because they're kind of the same thing. You have Wall of Omens, which is 1 white, 1 colorless, an 0/4. When you play it, you draw a card, and then Wall of Blossoms, which is 1 green, 1 colorless, 0/4, draw a card. Foils on those as well. If you get the Wall of Omens, there's the promo card. I believe it's the Friday Night Magic.
Yeah, Friday Night Magic.
FNM 1 is like $5, and that one's starting to actually spike, and there's a very, very low inventory of that, so that one's going to jump, I think, first. But I think all foils of these are going to potentially go up. The Wall of Blossoms you can get for a couple bucks.
That was in the only foil version of that comes from the Vault.
Yep.
20.
Well, they also had like a Judge promo.
Oh, that was
okay. That one is like $5, but yeah, you can get the, like Larry said, those for $1 or $2, I think, too. So, but it's 2 mana and if you're thinking about it with the dragon, you're putting a 4/4 kind of into play, and you're drawing
2 cards.
Yeah, you have the dragon out, you're drawing 2 cards. So, so I think those are definitely going to go kind of crazy. So. Everybody wants a wall commander, and we finally have one.
So, and then my last one is going to be Aetherworks Marvel, and this is, potentially a stretch. So, like, this was banned in Standard, and that always kind of piques my interest if a card gets banned in Standard, because right now it's low, nobody's using it. The only problem is that like
it's
energy
cycle out too.
Well, yeah, and it will cycle out of Standard here, so it's probably something that you want to wait for the fall after rotation, even though it is banned. But people tend to unload cards. The problem ends up being like energy is kind of like a parasitic ability. There's not a ton of energy to support it, so it's kind of difficult. You got to be almost in like 3 or 4 colors to play it in Commander. It's going to be really tough to maybe make a modern deck out of it. But if they ever go back to energy counters, this card's going to be ridiculous because there ends up being more support for it.
Yeah.
Unless they...
Which I could see them going back maybe.
Yeah, and so this is one of the like energy cards I would invest in after it's kind of gone down after rotation because people aren't going to want them.
So it's more of a, you don't need to necessarily jump on it today, but in the next couple months,
write it down on your list and just kind of
go for the foils on these.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'll definitely pick up a couple of foils once it rotates out.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one is another wall. It's Tree of Redemption. Go for the foils on these. They're 0/13s. It's 3 and 1 green, and basically think of it with Arcades again. Comes in, it's really like a 13/13. You could even change your life with it. It could be a one-shot kill for somebody. 40. But yeah, so the foils of these are around $3, and there's 2 printing, so you could do the Innistrad ones or the recent Masters 25 ones. I picked up a couple of each. I was like, I'll get the older ones and the newer ones because the Innistrad ones are, I think, a couple dollars more. Yeah, okay. $1 more. So
and if we want to go back to the Masters 25 stuff, there is that watermark on it, which we really like in foil as well.
Yeah. So, we're shitting on this card when it was in Masters for being a mythic, but now it actually might jump up to price of what a mythic should be because of the wall stuff. So
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
you're like Lowry and you pulled a mythic Tree of Redemption in your Masters $25 that you spent.
Did you? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
That's right.
God, I hate my boxes.
Yeah, so that should about do it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Those our latest podcast. We're at just after 3:00 in the morning.
Hey,
way to go! High five.
You're not sick again, are you?
No, I'm not sick.
Okay.
Yeah, you can catch us on Twitter, CommanderSmiths.
You can also email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
And check us out on YouTube. You can check out our last battle boxes. I don't know if we're going to do...
There's dueling boxes.
Damn it! I'm going to blame
Just
that.
give you the stink eye.
It was like, why are you shaking your head at me?
Disappointed.
I'm not mad. Yeah, that's what you get to use when you're a dad. Is I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's the best line.
Mine doesn't listen to me at all, so it doesn't matter.
No, you use it on other people because now that you're a dad, you
kids?
get
That's awful.
Other people. You just you say, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I can say that because I'm a father now. That's what dads do.
Sure, that's how.
Anyways, I think that'll do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Hey, thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
That's what I was waiting for. I pointed at you too. I was like, do the bye. Do the bye.
I get the last word. I get the last word.